I want to show you something cool I just installed in my truck. So this is the Pelsee P12 Pro Max. It's kind of a replacement mirror and dash cam kit that just does some really cool things. So let's go over it and I'll show you guys all the cool features of this new dash cam kit. Let me quickly show you everything just so you understand the concept of this thing before we dive into specs. So this is the 12-inch mirror that they send you with. Obviously it's turned off. It's a regular mirror right now. We'll show you everything turned on. It attaches to your existing one with some straps. It's really easy. And then there's on the back side of that, there's a forward-facing camera that shows your dash cam stuff going forward. And then the idea is that you run a rear camera to any type of vehicle you're on. So on mine, it's on top of my camper. So with it powered off, like I said, it's a regular mirror that you can see stuff through. And then I have mine hardwired. So let's turn that on. Fires right up. That's the basic idea of this thing, is that you have a rear camera here and a forward-facing camera here that shows you everything that's going on, so you can kind of view it in real time, as well as records it as a traditional dash cam would. So you have front and rear footage that's all logged onto an SD card that just loops and loops like a home security system. Hopefully that kind of gives you a concept or idea of what this thing is. It's kind of a couple things in one, so I kind of wanted to start with that so you could see a little bit about this thing. But there's your camera views. You can switch between views, enlarge stuff, and a whole bunch of stuff we'll get into here in a second. I think it'll be best to kind of switch over to the install process now. I've gotten offers on some things like this before, and they were just kind of a daunting task to me, and I didn't want to take the time to install them. Most of the time I was getting offers for equipment that was like literally just a dash cam, and that, although it's cool, it just wasn't quite like worth it to me to go through all that install stuff. I don't want it to seem too daunting to anyone, so let's go over kind of how I did my install, even with it being hardwired, so I can show you how simple it is. The install of the 12-inch screen itself is really simple. You see those little bands underneath it. Those actually run around your existing mirror. That way you still have all the tilt capabilities and everything out of your standard mirror, and then that screen just attaches to the front of that, and it's really solid. It's just on there pretty good. To get this thing set up, you got to run two wires. You got to run an AV wire to the camera in the back, and you got to power it somehow. So both use a USB-C plug that plug right into the top of this 12-inch mirror display. And for your power, you plug in the USB-C, and then that's what runs to your 12-volt socket plug that they give you. You can either plug that into a socket plug and call it a day, or you can instead hardwire that. So I just added a positive and a negative wire to the 12-volt socket, ran it up into a mirror tap, right into my mirror. There's tons of ways you can get power for these. That just was the fastest way I could find to put mine in. Otherwise, you could run it to your battery, hardwire any way you like. Running your camera wire is also pretty easy. Through the headliner, through the A-pillar, and then went down through the grommet in the floor. Just a little rubber grommet makes it really easy. And then under my chassis, just zip tied it to some existing wiring harnesses that were already there. And then up through the back of my pickup bed, and then up across the top of the dwell shell, and then right where the camera is 3M mounted. And so it's really easy to mount those up, really easy to run the wires, and pretty simple. Another power option you have, aside from the 12-volt socket and hardwiring, is this OBD2 port connector that they send you with. So it's literally a USB-C plug that plugs in the exact same way as your other 12-volt power does, but then it has an OBD2 port section right there that can go right into that. And these are actually really cool if you have an open port there. It's very vehicle dependent. Their owner's manual made that very specific, because some don't have power, some turn off different, but a lot of those ports have a low voltage shut off. So you should be able to plug this in, and then your mirror will actually turn on and off as your vehicle gets power with ignition. On some vehicles, that's not going to run for all, but you could test it with this on your vehicle once you have it. The only reason I didn't run mine that way is because my truck is tuned, and so I already have something plugged in to the OBD2 port, and I've heard that the splitters are not a great idea. So that's why I hardwired mine with the 12-volt socket, but that should cover all your power needs. So let's take a look at everything you get on this display panel here and do a whole overview on that. So truck or car fires up, you automatically get your recording going, and it will load up your screens instantly, and it's just kind of good to go. As you swipe, you have different views. There's your rear view, front view, and then you get both of the views that you can switch, flip-flop either way. If you're in a single view like this, because it's cropped in on this big 12-inch display, you can actually move the cameras up or down to get your view a little bit different. And then you have brightness over here that you can change the brightness of the whole screen. I kind of like to have both views. I don't know, I've kind of used a little bit of everything so far. I like the really wide view of the rear here that it's showing me. And then that's pretty much it for viewing your cameras. And then you hit home here. The recording stops on its own, and then this is where you have access to all your settings and everything. So right here, File Explorer. Let's show you that one first. This is where you have access to all of your videos and photos or whatever. It does it automatically, and it loops it like a home security system. They give you a 128 gigabyte SD card, but it's capable up to 512 gigabytes. And it will just, again, it'll fill up the card and delete the old ones and loop it with new stuff. So that's pretty cool. You just don't even have to worry about that. This is something I didn't install, but I want to still explain it to you because for some people it will make sense. So let me see if I can get you in frame here. This right here is a GPS unit. So it has a spot that plugs right into the top as well next to the other ones. And then this you just mount on your dash somewhere. And this is pretty cool if your vehicle doesn't already have these things. So this gives me like vehicle collision detection, blind spot monitoring, and like lane assist capabilities. Like all new vehicles have these built in, but this is cool if you don't have it already, to kind of just give you warnings and beeps and stuff if that kind of stuff is in the way. So you just plug the GPS unit in, mount it up front, and then from there you can actually calibrate them. Oh, I'm going to the wrong spot here. Back to smart driving. You can calibrate each of those settings so that you can use them with the GPS. The other thing the GPS does is when you're in your dash cam view or in the regular mirror view, it'll actually display a time and a speed right there. And so the reason I didn't install that is because I'm in a new enough truck. I already have the collision stuff, the lane stuff, and so I didn't need it redundant twice yelling at me. And then the other thing is that I already have my speedometer in a lot of places too. This radar detector shows me my speed, and my regular speedo on the dash shows me my speed, so I didn't really need it in a third place. So that's why I didn't bother with the GPS. But if you need those features, that's a really cool thing you could install and up through the headliner, tuck it wherever you need to, be pretty easy. And so then over here you have your settings. So you have camera settings where you can change the video resolution. The front camera is 4K and the rear camera shoots 2.5K, and that's where you can change the resolution for those. Video length, that just determines how much before it loops a video and stops it for you. Different settings for the GPS, parking monitor stuff, time-lapse stuff, all stuff you have to do through the OBD2 port if you're hardwiring it. And just some other basic settings there. Same with your system settings here. You can turn off the voice and touch beeps and just some basic stuff that is normal. It even has a speed adjustment. So if your speedo is off on your vehicle, you can adjust for the speed there, which that's really cool. So just a bunch of different settings there. In this main area here, home button is how you get back to that main home area where I was showing you all those settings. This is your audio for the inside. So I just turned that back on. You can turn it on and off. You get audio recording inside the cab here, and that disables or enables that. Manually take a photo, manually take a video. And then the other thing this thing has over here is voice control. So if I tap that, this one is just a legend that shows you the voice control commands and the things that you can do with voice control. I haven't really used this yet, mostly because I like that this thing just runs on its own and I don't really have to change settings ever. But if you wanted to while you're driving, this will actually do that kind of stuff. So I can say, turn off screen.
The screen is turned off.
And it will turn it off. Turn on screen.
The screen is turned on.
So there's two examples of the voice recording, and then a few other things. You can turn on the audio, turn off the audio.
Audio recording enabled.
Oh, it heard me and did it anyway. So another thing you can do is show front camera.
The front camera's view is displayed.
Show rear camera.
The rear camera's view is displayed.
So to be honest, not sure I'll ever really do the voice control, but maybe it's kind of cool to show your kids or something. Or if you want to change settings on the fly, I guess then you can do it over voice. One other thing on this that I didn't mention yet was they do have an app, and so if you go into the settings here, this is pretty simple, so we won't go way in depth on this, but if you go into the settings and then Wi-Fi information, you come right here, you turn on the Wi-Fi, and then connect to your app. The app is way simple. It's just pretty much all the app does is it gives you direct access to your files without having to pull the SD card. So like any other device, you could pull that SD card, put it into a computer or an adapter, and grab the footage that way. But if you needed to grab a clip and you're just gotten an accident or something, you might not have your laptop or a way to do that. This is easy. You go on, toggle it on, hop on your phone, and download the files right from the app. So that's kind of a cool way that you can grab files real quick, just right on your phone. So I've been testing this. I've had it installed for a couple of weeks, and as far as like the quality and stuff, it's actually really impressive. So 4K front camera, like I said, 2.5 in the rear. Front camera is super crisp. It's really, really good at nighttime. So it really illuminates everything. It has some pretty cool tech built into it that shows you great views at night. So you can have good quality footage out of the front. And then the rear camera is also good. So it does a good job at being able to display a wide angle view of stuff behind you at nighttime, and then as well in the day. So both day and night cameras do really well, front and rear. And that's about all I can say about it. They look good, and that's all you can ask for, really. So the clips coming off of the SD card are high quality, as well as the 12-inch display also displays it really well. So as you're literally looking at it, you get a nice crisp view right on that display. I'm obviously not looking at the front one while I'm driving necessarily. That kind of defeats the whole purpose of just looking out your windshield. But the rear one, let me tell you why this is so cool. I am in a truck camper with no windows, and so my rear view mirror has been absolutely useless for about a year or so now. I've kind of just gotten used to not having it at all. It's not illegal, you don't have to have it, but I've kind of just gotten used to it. This has brought back that ability to see behind me. So when I'm now just regular driving, I can see cars coming better. The biggest reason that I wanted to install this was also for seeing trailers that I'm pulling behind me, as well as when I have a hitch rack on and I have a motorcycle or an e-bike with me, I can now kind of keep an eye on those. Whereas before, with no rear view, whatever I was towing besides my side mirrors, I could see absolutely nothing that was going on. So now this is a huge peace of mind to be able to keep an eye on motorcycles or stuff that is on a trailer behind me, look at straps, that kind of thing, and keep an eye on that like you would in a regular rearview mirror. Price point on these, they've gone up a little bit, but these, it says the list price on Amazon. I use this because it changes all the time. The list price is $300. It's at this time, I mean, it's September 11th today, and it's on sale for $270. So you know how Amazon works. Stuff fluctuates like crazy, but $270 right now is kind of the list price on this, but it gives you an all-in-one combo for everything you need, from dash cams to rear view cameras and all that good stuff. I always get nervous that I miss stuff that you guys don't have answers to, so if you have questions, just comment. I'm pretty good at responding on there, or DM me on Instagram if you have specific questions about this. I want it to be simple for you guys. So if I miss something, just let me know. I can help you out as much as I'm possible of, even though I'm not super smart at this stuff, which should just give you more confidence that I was able to install this. You should have no problem doing it yourself. So again, thanks you guys for watching the video. Subscribe if you haven't. If you're new to the channel, happy to have you here with me. Catch you next time.